Hey guys, Moneyman300 back for some more videos here, and this time we've got our first build from A-Class, and it is the Ferrari 250 GTO, which I think might be the most expensive car in the game at 2 million credits, if I'm right. I think that's right. But anyway, we're going to be doing, what I'm going to do is give you guys two builds and tunes in here. Actually, the tunes are identical. There's like one little tiny adjustment that really doesn't matter, so for the purposes of this video, they're going to be identical. So, but I'm going to show you both builds and then the tune for that. And the reason being is I really have two different builds for this. One of them is a general speed car, so it's the one we won with first. Don't need to use traction control on it. Very fast, but not so fast that it's difficult to control. Still really easy to drive. The second build is more of a super speed build, like for Le Mans. You know, tracks like that with the long straightaway, you know, 217 mile an hour top speed. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about how you could take that in and maybe even make it a little bit faster. So anyway, let's hop right into it here and be back out here. Let's go to our upgrade and, oh, I don't even know which version I have loaded. Hang on. Let's load the right setup here. Yeah, I want this one actually. We're going to do this one first. So you'll be able to see the differences on it. And I'll go into a comparison when I load up the second one, so you get a sense for the difference between the two here. So, come on. All right, there we go. All right, so let's hop in over here. First things first, we do have an engine swap, and you're going to want to go to the 6.6 liter V12. So it's a beast of an engine, and that's what we're using here. And I did not do any aspiration conversion on top of that. So just the engine swap in there, and then we're going to have the adjustable front bumper and the adjustable rear wing. So go ahead and get the race front bumper and wing on both of those. Onto our tires, I do have, and this is probably the main difference in the builds, is just your tire compound. You know, one has less tire compound and more horsepower. The other has more tire compound and less horsepower. So this one is the one that happens to have more. I do have the sport tire compound on this one, and we're also going to have full width on the back, so 250 or on the front and the back, 255s on the front and 325s on the rear. Our wheels are going to be the, I believe they're Asante, yeah, the Asante AF 118s. Yeah, whoop, don't want to go there. Let's go back here and let's check our wheel sizes. Looks like we have 16-inch on the front, so one upgrade there, and 16-inch on the rear. So we got one upgrade each on the front and the rear. So let's head over to our drivetrain here. Not going to have a clutch. I do have the stock transmission, and this is one of the things I'll talk about when you would need this sport transmission. You don't need it in this one. I'll talk about it a little bit more in the second build. So for now, stock transmission works great for this build. And then could not do any driveline upgrades to get us any weight. And we have the full race differential on there. Into our platform and handling, I always have the race brakes, race springs and dampers, race front anti-roll bars, race rear anti-roll bars, and in this case I do not have a chassis adjustment. It says that you can get, you know, 8.7 to 9.0 on my acceleration, so it thinks it really ties things together. I don't know that you get that much benefit out of it given the PI and the weight that you gain. So, and I did not do any weight reduction, so we're race everything in here except for the weight reduction and the chassis reinforcement. Let's hop over to our engine parts area, pop through these real quick. I don't remember which ones I got. Stock intake, stock manifold. I don't have much here. Stock fuel system, stock ignition. I think I have an exhaust. Yep, race exhaust, stock camshaft, stock valves. I believe I have displacement is the other thing. So yep, the race engine block is in there, and then that's all we have for the build. So that gets us to, let me go back in here, it gets us 8055 87 82 and 57 for the numbers there. 710 horsepower, 529 foot-pounds of torque, coming in at 2,415 pounds and 54% of that to the front. This is a front engine car, isn't it? For some reason, I thought this was mid-engine. No wonder this one tuned differently than the other ones. I was thinking all Ferraris are always, you know, mid and rear engine, but there's no way if that much weight of it is to the front of it. Anyway, let's hop in and take a look at our tune. don't know what it's saving. I don't think I made any changes there, did I? Gonna worry me if I did. Oh, it's probably just from loading the tune-up. 28 and 28, kind of my standard. I don't really mess with the tire pressure much anymore. I don't seem to make much difference on small adjustments anyway. Ended up at negative 2.7 and negative 2.3, and then one adjustment you'll see that's a little different from what I might normally do is that front caster angle is at 7.0. That really helped add some stability into the car. It was a little touchy tuning it, and I just tried it and I liked the way it felt. So you can play around with that a little bit, but I did end up with a really high caster angle, which seemed to keep the car more stable, and a little bit lower in the camber as well at 2.7 and 2.3 there. The or higher, I guess it depends on which direction you're talking about. More negative, a little bit less negative camber. Can you say that? Not as much negative camber. I guess you can say that. Roll bars ended at 15.66 and 5.70, all to control that rear end. Same thing on the springs at 550 and 430. 6.1 and 6.7 on the ride height. 10.5 front rebound stiffness and 9.8 in the rear. 1.8 and 1.5 on your bump stiffness. We did do full aero on this, something else you could experiment with if you want to take the aero out, but honestly it's not that much and probably makes 2 to 3 mile an hour difference if you do take it out of there. A little just slightly faster, but a little bit harder to control. 53% balance and 200. I like the 200 braking force. You guys are going to have to play and adjust to that yourself. I don't know that not that many people do that. And I would take this braking force on this one's probably right. I'm going to talk about the braking force on the other car. So 18 and 15 is our differential numbers. So let's go in. So that's this build. Let's go in here and let's load up. Here, let's. I still named it Forza. I gotta fix that. So I gotta fix my name. Anyway, the second build here, and I'll have both these tunes shared out there. I think I shared this one out there. I'll double check, but this was it just says great speed build. I think it's supposed to be build, but it doesn't take that many characters. Anyway, that's the slightly slower version. Here is the faster version that is, when I say faster, not necessarily faster lap times, just this is more of a top speed build than the other one is. So let's get that on there, and we'll take a look at our differences here. And then I'm not going to go back into the tune. The tune is the same, both, which is interesting. So the tune works for both of these, and that makes it kind of nice if you're going to switch in and out, which you can do in the lobby. So let's go out here. Let's back out. We're going to have the same thing here. You're going to have the same engine. And I still did not do an aspiration conversion, so everything's the same in the engine area. I still have the race front bumper and rear wing. One major difference here is we do come down to the street tire compound, so we do come down one. If you wanted to make it even faster, and this is, if you're using traction control, you might be able to get away with this. You can bring it down, just go stock tires on this thing. So that's one thing you could do. You also want to go do the sport transmission so it's adjustable. Otherwise, you're never going to get to your top speed. You're going to top out and not have enough gears. So I'm probably going to make another build that's the way. I'll share it out there if I do. I left the tire width, full tire width on these. And I do have slightly different wheels just to get the PI all to balance out appropriately. We have the OZ Super Turismo GTs for the wheels. And the wheel sizes should be 16 still. Yep, did not change that. 16s on the front, 16s on the rear. Let's hop over and take a look at our... So this is what I'm talking about. If you're going to do that, you can go to the... You get a free upgrade of the Sport. I don't know why. Probably just throw this on here anyway. I didn't need the Sport transmission, so I didn't even come back and look to see if there's any benefit out of getting it. But you do get 2 extra pounds here, so you might as well put the Sport transmission on anyway. I'm just going to leave it as is because this build's fine, and so is the other one. But you're going to want to get the... if you're going to make it any faster than this one here, you're going to need it because I just topped out at what its top speed is. It's almost perfectly geared the way it is now, but if you add any horsepower to it, you're going to need that transmission. You're going to have an adjustable one to be able to reach those higher speeds. I do have the full race driveline on that one, and the race, there's the driveline again, and the race differential. Now let's take a look at our engine parts here. So that's not the engine parts. Jeez, so we have race brakes, race springs. This is all the same. front and rear roll bar. I do not have, you know, just stock chassis reinforcement and stock weight reduction. So nothing different in that one. Now let's go check out our engine parts. We're gonna have the race intake, stock manifold, race fuel system, stock ignition, the race exhaust. We're gonna have race camshaft in here to lengthen that curve out a little bit longer. That really helps control some of that early on stuff that happens with the torque in this car. Stock valves. I think the only other thing we have is the race engine block, so more displacement. Ends up at 816 horsepower, 577 foot-pounds of torque, 2,395 pounds with 54% of that to the front, 6.4 liters of displacement, 218 mile an hour. I think if you saw the other one, it was 208 mile an hour. It's about 10 mile an hour faster on this one. It does make a difference on a track like Le Mans. So that's everything for both cars, man. This car is super fun to drive. You're really, really gonna like this car. You saw it in the races. We had no problem winning with this thing, and it gets around the track in a hurry, can get you out front, and then makes it easy to hold the lead. Actually, really easy to drive. Really like the way this car turns and holds lines. So anyways, I'm going to end it with that. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.